This is WOMMLP operating out of Billington, Vermont, 105.9 The Radiator. Good evening, it's The Rocket Shop. I'm your host, Tom Proctor, and with me tonight is Good Morning Gils. Hello.
Hello, Tom. Thanks for having us in.
Oh, of course. How are we all doing this sunny spring day?
Warm.
Yeah, it's coming up on summer.
It's nice though. It's lovely.
Beautiful.
We're about a week off summer
Yeah,
by the astrological calendar.
almost there. Days getting
Almost.
longer.
Well, we always like to kick it off with a song. So what you got for us?
So this is an original tune. It's called Here and There. It's from our first EP, so we'll start everybody off with that. You guys ready? Yep. All right. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3.
Good morning, Gils there with Here and There. So, guys, we'd like to go around and quickly introduce yourself. If you don't have a microphone in front of you, you can just pop in front of one when it's your turn.
Go down the line.
Big first, yeah. Bass, Dan Floyd. That's it.
I'm Eric Sievert, play guitar and do some of the vocals.
AJ on the drums.
I'm Charles. I play guitar and sing a little bit.
Well, lovely to have you all in. So, first song, Here and There, from your first EP. Your second EP, The View From Here, came out in 2020. Both of these came out in the summer. So it fit the trend, really, to see another EP coming out quite shortly. So what's going on there?
Well, View From Here coming out in the summer of 2020 was impeccable timing. So I think we're still working on the promotion of that one.
Yeah.
But we've been working on some new material
Right.
with an eye towards our third EP.
I think we kind of want to go towards an album next time now. Oh, I think we kind of want to go towards an album next time. You know, we did a couple EPs, so then we're gonna step it up and do maybe 10 songs or so. So we'll see what comes around next time.
And so, as you said, second EP came out with impeccable timing in the summer of 2020, when everyone was just milling around and getting themselves in tightly packed inside spaces. So yeah, what was kind of the what was the thought behind bringing it out then rather than maybe waiting? Did you just have all this all ready to go and you're like, sod it, now or never, I'm just gonna get it out, or was there another idea behind it?
Well, we got in the studio. I think it was the first weekend of March of 2020 at Robot Dog with Ryan Cohen, and we were recording it. And we'd just gotten out of the studio. We were really excited. We had some plans. We were hoping to do a big album release party and all that kind of stuff. And a week later was when we played our last show at Radio Bean for a long time, and things kind of started shutting down. And after that, it kind of just was like, well, how are we going to approach this? And we figured, well, we don't know how long this is going to last, so put some music out. But yeah.
Yeah, just push it digitally.
Yeah. It kind of just became about trying to put ourselves out there without actually being out there, kind of like the rest of the world.
Right.
We got pretty lucky too in that Robot Dog had us in for a set in their studio, which was pretty nice. We were able to get a lot of people that were sitting around on their hands to be able to have something to tune into and play.
Yeah, that was the Lamp Shop, right?
Yeah,
it was a live set that we did there, which was a lot of fun. And Ryan Cohen and was Christian. They were able to do the video and audio of that, and that turned out really great. So that was a lot of fun for them to jump in and do some of that during COVID, which was great.
Obviously, some of the differences would be stark, but the first album coming out in 2018 and then the second album coming out in 2020, what are the big differences between the two? Because obviously big limitations, but on the same kind of thought trajectory, you would also kind of establish yourself as a band at that point, so likely going to get more traction. So yeah, what was the reception like in comparison between those two EPs?
Yeah, I would definitely say our first EP was a little more by the seat of our pants. We'd been working a little bit with Dr. Rick, another great local band, and they were able to put us up in their rehearsal space and kind of just do a little budget EP there, which kind of got the ball rolling.
Yeah.
So yeah, just kind of getting our foot in the door on that first one. We got started in 2016, and had been kind of playing around town, and it was time to make some recordings.
Feels like you do things by 2-year increments. It's 16,
Yeah.
18, 20.
Yeah.
Now
Yeah.
you're here in 22.
We might try odd numbers out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Might be nice.
Yeah.
And so as you said, you kind of all met together in 2016. How did that happen? Like, where do you guys all know each other from?
Well, Eric and I actually grew up together outside of Boston, Mass, in a little town called Weston. We actually were in a band in high school together, so we were doing shows in freshman year, sophomore year, kind of around the Boston area. And then he went to college and I didn't, and we kind of took our little separate ways. He ended up moving up here because his parents lived up here, and then I kind of eventually, not on purpose, followed suit, and it felt like it was time to do something again. He would kind of had already something, the Good Morning Gils kind of already existed under a different, there was a different member there, and I fell in, and it just kind of worked out. It felt comfortable because Eric and I had played music a lot together in the past, and I didn't know Dan and AJ at the time, obviously, but we're here now, and it's definitely been a good journey so far.
Yeah, I think some of the earlier chapter, our original guitarist, another guy by the name Dan Zaltz, when I moved here to Burlington, he and I just kind of got started up playing acoustic sets. And around the same time, AJ and I were running a summer camp together and started playing on the side. And a couple weeks later, it occurred to me, why don't we just pull this all together? And we roped in Dan. So we had Dan squared for the early part of the band. And
Yeah. So I originally played metal in high school and everything like that. So coming to this band was definitely fun. To try different genre and stuff. So it was definitely a lot of fun.
Did you find you had to scale yourself back a lot more, like turn it down to like 7 or 8 rather than
I
up to
try.
11?
I try. I mean, I'm still go to 13 and 14 every once in a while, but I try to
Always.
scale it back every once in a while. If we're doing like a really live set, I'll be moving around a lot. But it's been a lot of fun, playing with these guys.
And did you two always like have the indie in mind when you were playing as teenagers, or has your kind of taste also meandered and morphed as you've got older?
I would say the latter. as far as, well, I'd say it's both actually. I think recently our tastes have differed a lot, but when we were playing in high school, we were we were on a similar wavelength. It was definitely heavy alternative rock, like, you know, pretty 90s kind of sort of vibes. Um, that was what we were into. That was what we were about at
So,
the time.
so like grunge or
I would
Pixies?
maybe go as far. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd say like mid 90s alternative rock.
Right.
You know, was like where we were.
And how much of that, those early days, when you kind of got back together again, you two, did it kind of, was it like riding a bike? It was just like, like old times, or did you find that, you'd grown up quite a lot and things had changed and it took a kind of maybe a bit of time to mesh in the same way as you did when you were teenagers?
Kind of felt like it was maybe a little bit of each, but for the most part, it was pretty seamless.
Yeah, I mean, so I played guitar like kind of more as, I played it in previous bands like a tiny bit, but not very much, and this is the first band that I really did full guitar on, and that was definitely new for me and not something I was used to. I played bass with Eric when we were in high school, but he did the same thing he's doing now, kind of writing a lot of the music and bringing it to us and us kind of developing it. But yeah, I think it kind of, I mean, now it feels like old times, but at first it had been so long, and yeah, I was moving guitar. It was weird. Moving guitar was weird, but.
And how about you, AJ, at the back? You have you always been kind of an indie drummer, or have you kind of dipped your toe in metal, jazz, fusion?
Yeah, playing wise, it's always been kind of in the same lane. Music taste wise, I'm all over the map, but yeah, historically straight through playing that style. Yeah.
Were you in a band before Good Morning Gils, or is this your kind of your first real band, I guess?
I had a small casual band in high school and nothing through college, and so this was a great experience to start playing with these guys. Yeah, so pretty much full on.
Yeah, and I mean, you guys have been going now for 6 years, which is an incredibly long time. How does that how's that worked? How have you seen the band change and morph in those 6 years itself? And how do you all fit together now versus back when you were first starting out?
I think things are coming just a little easier. We're a little more regimented. Playing as many shows around town as we have, it's kind of easier for us now to work in our practice schedules, amongst our, 9-to-5 jobs and that sort of thing. So the scheduling has improved, and I think we've settled into the routine.
Yeah, I think bands are relationships for sure, and I knew Eric at first, but I did not know Dan and AJ. The first time that we jammed together was the first time I met them, and things have changed so much. I think just we're so much more comfortable with each other, and I think that's where really exciting things start to happen musically, is when you feel comfortable with each other and you're able to not feel like you're going to get judged by the other person when you bring something that you think is exciting forward.
Yeah, for sure.
So
Yeah, I think what was Here and There was one of the first songs that we played together.
It was the first.
It was the first song. So that song we just played was the first one that we played
When Charles
as a
joined.
band when Charles joined the band. So that was pretty exciting to go there. And then since then, it's always been just a collaborative effort. And obviously Eric brings a lot of the bones and structure to the forefront, and we just kind of flesh it out. But I'd say a lot of it is Eric coming up with a lot of those good chords and those good melodies that we're able to jam on.
So as you say, like Here and There, first song you ever performed together as a unit, and 6 years later you're still playing it. As those songs, they've changed over the years, because you must have played that song 1,000 times at this point, yeah. So is that song now something that you kind of, when you bring it out, it's now kind of changed quite drastically from when you first kind of played it, or is it like, oh no, we nailed this first time round, we're just gonna keep playing this now?
I think overall we do have a pretty structured, regimented approach.
Yeah.
There's not much kind of improvisation. We definitely come in with a set plan. I mean, maybe the songs we've improved our ability to play it, but the essence of it probably hasn't strayed all that far.
Well, I'd love to hear another song, so what you got for us?
All right. So this is a song called "Clear the Air." It's a new one. So whenever the third third EP or album comes along, this will likely be on it.
Good to go.
You good?
All right there. Clear the Air by Good Morning Gils. One of their newer songs maybe coming up. Going to be on the new EP or album, whenever
To
it
be
may come out,
determined,
the TBD.
One way or another.
So, newest song. Tell me a little bit about that process of kind of putting an EP or an album together. So, you come out your studio, or you release in 2020. It's been a couple of years. Is it kind of a regimented thing where you're coming up with a song every couple of months or something, like it's a mechanical thing? Or is it a case where I spoke to one person a couple of weeks ago that he apparently wrote every single song he's ever performed and will ever perform when he was 13? Most people aren't like that, granted, but is it more of that kind of like all at once kind of thing, and it's just then a case of sorting it all out?
I think songs kind of just pop up over time. For a couple of years leading up to COVID, I would try to hold myself to making a kind of a demo draft recording at least once a month, which managed to keep up for about 3 years. And then kind of just bring those in as kind of a baseline idea, and then let the rest of the gang round out whatever they want to do with it.
I think we're really lucky because we have Eric coming into practices a lot of the time, and he's like, "Hey guys, I got like 3 or 4 songs I've got that I'm ready to go," and we're like, "Okay, cool," and he shows us all of them, and we go through them, and it's kind of lucky. And he records them all. He plays the drums, he plays the bass, he plays everything. He has a full recording, and he comes in and he shows it to us, and it makes it. I mean, I don't know. I think it makes it really exciting and easy because we already have a really nice canvas that we get to work off of. It's something that's already ready. And then it kind of comes down to us. We do our own things. I definitely, I take maybe too many liberties occasionally, but I think we all make it work. We make it our own at the end, but I think without Eric, like, just being he pumps out songs like a lot of people I have not seen before, honestly, like very consistently.
I second all of that.
So I mean that's incredible that you kind of sit down and you play the bass and you play the guitar and obviously doing the vocals and you're playing the drums as well. Is that always been the way that you've operated, or is this kind of a methodology that you've developed over time because you feel like it works?
I mean, I think it started when I was, around 12 or 13. I kind of, started with guitar, but it's kind of nice to be able to have a sense of what you want to do with the other instruments, but also not be entirely beholden to it either. I mean, I think that's just the first step of, putting together what I put together, and then obviously bringing it to the rest of the group. They really, take it to the next level, kind of make it three-dimensional in a sense.
Yeah, and you say, mentioned that like 3 or 4 songs come at once sometimes in practices, but you've got maybe this back catalogue of like 36 or so demos from your 3 years of, diligently creating a song a month. Is it like a case of like, all right, they've not finished demo number 12 and 13 yet, so I'm not going to give them 14 and 15 and 16 until they get that finished? Or is it kind of like, this is just one I want to bring to practice today because I was listening to it, it sounded great, and now I want to see what we can do with it?
Yeah, it's kind of some of each. I mean, sometimes there's a song I'm particularly excited about, but I think it's almost preferable to come up with a sampling of songs and see what kind of piques the rest of the group's interest. Because, more often than not, they'll have an idea of how to approach it that never occurred to me. A little salt and pepper here and there.
Well, like the new song we just had that we're not going to play today, but there was no bridge set yet for that one, so we ended up jamming on that one until we got a bridge that felt really fun, and then we just and now that's part of that song. So it's kind of, I'd say probably 90% of the time it comes with the straight everything. With the bones and everything, but sometimes there'll be pieces that we add that is great, and then he gives us liberty to add in those bass lines and those guitar pieces that really kind of solidify our pieces as well.
Yeah, fantastic. And how quick is this process usually when you bring a new demo in? How long does it take to get from like that raw demo to say that final product? That Clear the Air you just played, super tight. You guys clearly know what you're doing. You obviously practiced it and played it a lot. How long did it take to get from your demo version of this to that kind of finished product?
Same practice.
Yeah, generally we can probably play it through in the same by the end of a practice. We kind of have like 3 mindsets. We're either learning new material and we'll just like hone in on 1 or 2 songs. We'll either be preparing for a show and just repping a set, or just trying to get the instrumentals tight for recording.
I can say I'm the last to always come up with a part. With that song, I still don't have a part down. For the end, don't know what I'm doing yet.
But until he's ready to record, and that's it. Then.
Yeah, well, that's gospel sometimes. When it's put down and it's recorded, that's the part.
Are you the sort of person that can't get a project done until the deadline is like 3 hours away?
Oh my God, yeah. You should have seen me in high school. Yeah.
You just need to tell him that you got a gig the next day or something, and you're going to be in the recording
you know
studio.
I'd still wing it.
And more often than not, that works out. So.
It's it depends. Depends on the day.
Yeah. Well, I'd love to hear another song. So, what you guys got?
So this next song, I'll just give a little background to. Fast, kind of rewind to I think 2007, when Eric and I were in a band together. We did a lot of kind of jams that coincided with my brother, who was a really fantastic drummer. And my brother played in a band called Postage 25. They were a really excellent indie rock band with really charismatic, young, incredible singer by the name of Steven Salazar. He wrote incredible songs. They were, I used to listen to them and think that they were ready to go. I thought they were going to be big. Things dissipated. They broke up, and sadly, a couple years ago, Steven passed away in a motorcycle accident. But their music was really near and dear to my heart. And talking to my brother Cullen about, who was the drummer of this band, talking about Steven's passing and what we might be able to do. And I said, I'd really like to take this song, Jenny, that you guys played and kind of do it with my band and make it our own a little bit. And he said, please do. I'd love to see that, and Steven would love it. So that's what we're going to do. The song is Jenny. It's originally by my brother's band and Steven Salazar, Postage 25. But this is our kind of little take on it. So.
Shave your lip, bend your brow. Jenny, I
Jenny there by Good Morning Gils, and I really do want to give credit to the original band. What were they called again?
Postage 25.
Postage 25 did the original of that song. I mean, beautiful, tragic reason to write a song, but a beautiful story nonetheless. How much of that did you adapt and make your own, and how much did you kind of leave that core soul of the song within?
I think we made it our own energy a little bit, but the song is more or less the same.
Yeah.
There were certain bits that made it what it is: the bass line, the drum groove. I think Steven had a huge spirit, and trying to capture his vocal was really hard. He was a kind of smaller guy with he's able to hit a lot of high notes and really kind of a lot of like Jeff Buckley influence, and that's hard to do. But trying to kind of retain that spirit, I just always loved the energy of that song. Kind of as long as I've been hearing it, it's been a long time now.
Yeah.
So.
Is that ever likely to see an EP or an album as well, or is that kind of like sacred at this point?
No, that's my brother being the drummer of the band and talking to other members, it got full blessing.
Okay.
So that'll likely appear on an album or an EP.
Wonderful. Well, it sounds like you're really coming together with this album/EP at this point, doesn't it?
We're getting
Working
there.
on it. Yeah.
We got like 5 songs, so we're like halfway.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was going to say, it sounds like, there's at least a solid trajectory towards getting that in place. I reckon with you're obviously the songwriter for the group and also the arranger, it seems, as well. You got a little bit of a Beach Boys thing going on here. What's kind of your process? What are you writing about? Anything in particular? Do you have to be in a certain mood? Is it are you being very literal about things that are happening in your own life, or are you kind of taking things kind of more of a 30,000-foot view? How do you get into the right place?
Yeah, no, I think frankly it's all of the above. If anything, I would say that lyrics are probably the thing that I do last. More often than not, it'll be like a melody or a beat or something that'll just kind of come to me in day-to-day life, and I'll sing it into my voice memos and come back to it when I actually have time and an instrument to approach it with, and kind of expand on it from there. But usually it's just kind of just catch something from a passing moment in the day and harness it into something from there.
I gotta say, voice memos are the untold hero for any band in modern times. The amount of Mona Lisas we've probably got on voice memo on phones across the world is unknown, obviously, but yeah.
We kind of had that in high school, but not to the level of simplicity and sound quality that we can do now. It's crazy.
Right, like in practices, we've been jamming out a lot more, and I think that the voice memos is great because we come up with something, and then Eric will just click record, and we'll record a piece of it, and then go from there. But yeah, voice memos.
How unwieldy is that folder at this point? How many voice memos have you got in there? Do you arrange it, or is it kind of just like? Boof?
I'll give it a whatever date it was, and maybe a working title, but it's probably about a third of my iTunes at this point. Just kind of
gigabytes upon gigabytes
just
of
ideas,
voice memos,
most of which never really go anywhere. But
yeah, and so you said the lyrics kind of come last. Do you draw from somewhere in particular? Or do you listen to something, or is it just as you write it, it will kind of come?
Yeah, I think it's as I write it, it kind of comes into form. Maybe it'll be things about day-to-day life or happening in my own life, but all just as much things that I kind of observe in the more macro, broader world around me, and trying to just, put my 2 cents down and put it in a song.
Right, yeah. I've been told a lot of times that writing and creating music is very much like therapy in itself, only a bit cheaper. Actually, more expensive if we put in studio.
Until you get to the studio.
Studio time and equipment, then probably a bit more expensive. But yeah. So let's talk about you guys playing live a little bit. So as you said, before pandemic hit, you played that last Radio Bean show, and then that was it forever. I've seen since then, well, not maybe since then, but at least this summer, you playing Radio Bean, so you played Monkey House as well. Yeah, what's the difference between you guys in the studio and you guys doing a live gig? Which would you prefer?
That's a good question.
We didn't play at Monkey House, by the way, just to
Oh.
correct. But we did play
We
Radio
have
Beat.
played there in the
We did
past,
14th Star a couple
Yeah.
weeks ago. Troy Millette hosts every week the I forget what he calls it, but every week there's a series at 14th Star, a great series with 3 local bands playing, and we were lucky enough to be a part of that. But to speak to the question,
Live.
live, I live.
Yeah.
I mean, personally, playing live is like my favorite thing to do in the entire world, probably. So recording can be very stressful.
Yeah. How about just being in a practice space though? Is it better to have a few beers with the boys and being, I'm assuming, one of your basements, or is it better to be in 14 Star or Radio Bean?
We certainly have fun in the basement, but
We do have fun, but it's always better to be in front of people.
Yeah.
Right.
It's always preferable.
Yeah, you get that added energy, and it's fun.
Yeah, you feed off the audience, and that typically drives us up to another level that we don't always reach in the basement. You know.
I see.
But the basement's where all the hard work gets done too, though.
Right. You're putting, and then that's why going live is great, because you're kind of showing off that finished product, that the thing that you want to display to the world. So I can imagine it's quite satisfying.
Definitely. I think, we definitely look at our sets and we try to rearrange them and try to make them new and fun every single, live show. So we're not always coming out with the same exact set. We always try to arrange it, and okay, is this song flowing into that one? All right, that ends on that key, so is that going to flow into that one? So we definitely, take pride in putting a set out. It's not just the same one every time.
It's a little bit different. When we started playing back in 2018, or when I started playing with these guys, we were doing the 3-hour sets at Manhattan's, and 10 p.m. to 1 a.m. and we would be like, all right, guys, we got to have other songs we can play. Like trying to fill out space. It was a much different thing. Where now it's like, it really feels kind of like a blessing to be able to have all these songs you can choose from and create different vibes and not have to do the same thing over and over again. But it takes time.
Yeah. Well, at least now you don't have to put in 25-minute long guitar solos or.
Yeah, we're not a jam band.
Yeah.
No.
But,
Just very long diatribes to the audience in front of you. Maybe bring a book, read it to them.
yeah, you will get there maybe one of those days, if people want it.
Do you primarily play the songs that you've released, or is it kind of we nailed this in the basement the other day, let's bring it out for a live set? Do you just kind of know when those are ready and stick them out straight away, or do you wait and no, we're going to save this one for when the album gets released?
Oh, we're not shy about putting new stuff out.
Yeah, I don't think we've ever waited to. I think if a song's ready, we play it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And do you ever kind of, after hearing the audience reaction or seeing the reaction, ever kind of go back and tweak or change or anything, or is it once you've kind of played it out, that's it? You line underneath it.
I think if anything, the audience is more affirmation, not necessarily feedback.
Okay, got you.
Yeah, I think a lot of the times, we find out what song works in a certain time period in the set. I think that's the most that you learn, and you play a certain song last, and that works.
Right.
Yeah. We have a song that we're playing live, and it's still called New Song. So,
Yeah, it always there's never
Audience doesn't know that.
Of course not. No, yeah.
You guys do.
I was going to say, don't listen to us yahoos about your music. Just play what feels good. Well, talking of live performances, have you got any coming up that you would like to plug away, and also like social media and whatnot? How would people follow you or find you if they wanted to?
Yeah. So for Instagram, we're Good Morning Gils, GILS.
Not girls and not Gils with Gils with 2 L's.
Got it.
And I mean, as far as you can find us on any listening platform, Spotify, Apple Music.
Bandcamp.
Yep,
everything.
Bandcamp, the works. Yeah.
We have a live set coming up on Sunday with Tim Lewis,
Mm-hmm.
doing the Sounds of Burlington with him. So that's going to be good. As far as live in-person stuff, we don't have anything set in stone at the moment. So just kind of
But keep an eye out.
taking
Yeah,
things as they
yeah,
come.
yeah.
We're in talks. There's things
Yeah.
in the back burner. And,
Yeah.
we just came off a couple shows
Yeah.
in April and March. We were over at Radio Bean and obviously 14th Star. So always looking. And,
Yeah. Well, good to get you out and about in the summer,
Yeah.
or a porch gig or an outsource thing. I know Orlando's is still doing outdoor gigs, so
Yeah.
I feel like you guys would be a good addition to their lineup. So hopefully I'll see you out and about at some point. Well, we've got about time for one more song. So what have you got to play us out with?
Yeah, so this next song is called September Vibe. It was off of The View From Here, our last EP. We actually kind of put it out as, I don't know, maybe it was an unofficial single. We made a music video for it. So yeah, we'll play that one for it to end up here. Ready? 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4.
While I was dreaming of a silver sunrise and sky, with an ocean on my mind. On a summer night, a whole sky, sweet September love, got a feeling from above. Breeze of the night could see some true. You feel my vibe, my tempo. Girl, take my hands and lead me to somewhere where I can learn you. Well, the wise men say from the land to take a little time, but I got that state of mind. 'Cause if you feel the current pull me closer to the light, and it feels like I've arrived. Breeze of the night could see some true. You feel my vibe, my tempo. Girl, take my hands and lead me to somewhere where I can learn you.
All right, good morning, Gils. Playing us out there with September Vibe. Guys, thank you so much for coming in the studio. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for
Thank you
having us.
Yeah, of course. And yeah, please come back in when this album finally gets done. I actually have faith it's going to get done because it sounds like you guys actually, stick to your schedules.
We'll find a way.
We'll try.
Well, catch us next week when we've got Dylan Patrick Ward coming in the studio. But for tonight, this has been WOMM LP operating out in Burlington. It's been 105.9 The Radiator, The Rocket Shop. I've been your host, Don Proctor, and good night.
Hey, thank you guys so much.
Thanks, guys. To all of you. Thank you.
Oh, that was really good, guys. You guys are tight.